Howdy everyone, Starsea here, and today is gonna be a different kind of video. No review, no gaming news, just my unbottled hatred for GameStop, along with a few stories. Now, I've hated GameStop for a long time now, and have plenty of awful experiences I could share, but a recent discovery with my GameStop account, along with hearing some of the recent stories shared around on YouTube, more specifically Camelot 331's story, has pretty much pushed me to the point where it's time to do some sharing myself and express my genuine disgust with GameStop and their evilness. At this point, I'd like to issue the Starsea Rant disclaimer, in which, whereas I normally keep my language PG for reviews and news videos, in rants I bump up the rating just a little to let some steam off. So if you get offended by a few swear words,
There's the door.
that being said, let's rip some GameStop ass. Now, I guess I'll start with what was just my breaking point. So, as we all know, GameStop sucks in pretty much every aspect. Their prices, their policies, their treatment of employees, the way they force their employees to treat and deceive customers. Though every now and then, every rare, and I mean rare time, there'll actually be a reason to drop in and maybe purchase something, be it a game on sale or some sort of promotion they just happen to have going. So, of course, every once in a while, and I mean like rarely, like they'll be lucky if I drop in once, maybe twice a year to actually legitimately purchase something. I'll make a purchase there, and I'll make sure to have my basic Power Up Rewards account ready to earn points from my purchases, because why not? The last time I believe I dropped in was either to purchase my PS4 during the last Black Friday, or maybe shortly after when I picked up another game for it. And I made sure to have my rewards set up then so that I could get a decent chunk of points. And by decent, I mean crumbs, but at least more crumbs than you'd get making any other usual purchases. So I get done with that and see that I earned 2,000 points on my account. Mind you, on November 18th of last year. I'm telling you the date because that'll actually be important here in a second. So of course, I may have stopped in one other time, like on the 25th, because I earned 150 points there on my account that day. Fast forward a bit, I haven't shopped there in a while, so the points slipped my mind as you really can't redeem them for anything at that low of a balance. Well, recently I was looking at a game for the Switch that just released a little over a week ago. I happened to have a little cash on me, along with a little Microsoft Rewards points, in which I could get a gift card of some sort, either Amazon or GameStop through Amazon. Now, not wanting to wait for shipping time, I decided to go with the GameStop route, simply because it'll give me some points in doing so, and I wasn't exactly planning on buying used, thus GameStop wouldn't exactly be benefiting from my purchase. So I go to log into my account for the first time in at least months, see how many gift card balances work there, or see how gift card balances work there, and while I was at it, I remembered that I should have had some Power Up Rewards points on my account. So I go to the section and look at my balance, and what do I see? 0 points. 0 frickin' points. And to add insult to injury, it's not even just the current balance, but the lifetime points claiming to be 0 as well. Now at this point, I'm pissed off, so I try to look everywhere on the site to find out where the hell my damn points went. Finally, I looked at the card section, the card activity section, and lo and behold, December 28th, 2018, right at the top, I see Power Up Top Off Bonus 2018 with a point reduction of 2,400. So I'm thinking, bonus? Are you fucking serious? More like a penalty. So I go fiercely searching around my account to see where the hell they went, what it went towards, and eventually search Google. There was one result, and only one result. Closest thing I found was a Reddit post with one reply to someone who had a power-up top-off bonus of 2017 that took their points away. Apparently, according to the commenter, they round up all your points, steal it, and send you a $5 off coupon. Funny, I never got a $5 off coupon. And even if it was one of those ridiculous coupons that only last for a few weeks, I never got sent the damn email. And I'd know because I check my email quite frequently to make sure I don't miss anything important. So here we are with a dilemma. I could try to call corporate, as I read from a news article, and try to get my points back, or at least some of them. But based on how well I know GameStop corporate as being the source of GameStop's evilness, I really don't want to have to sit there through what could be an hour-long phone call and deal with an asshole over the phone who will probably discard my issue with something along the lines of, "Sorry, nothing we can do. Thank you for shopping GameStop." And the reason I say an hour is because I've actually had a sort of secondhand encounter with corporate before. Which brings me to one of my bad GameStop experiences, which I will gladly share with you now. Now, mind you, this is from a point of view of a customer, so don't expect to hear one of those employee point of view stories where shit hits the fan. So, that being said, back in mid 2015, already a couple years into the current generation of consoles, I was still playing on an Xbox 360. At that point, I knew it was basically the last year for 7th gen players to either hop on the current gen or be completely left behind. Seeing as how it turned out, 2015 was basically the last year that Xbox 360 and PS3 got some actual new games, with the likes of things like Life is Strange, Metal Gear Solid 5, Rise of the Tomb Raider for 360, and of course the god-awful last-gen Black Ops 3. Basically, it was time for me to get an Xbox One, as while the Xbox One did overall kind of suck at that point, I'd always been an Xbox person. So of course, with a new console, you'll need a game, and seeing as how my favorite game had just come to the current generation of consoles, I wanted to have it on hand as soon as I had a new console. So I decided I would go to GameStop and get a used copy of Payday 2 Crapwave Edition, split between cash, a few trade-ins for store credit, and a discount coupon with rewards points. So I get the price of the trades figured out and calculate how much I'll have to get from rewards points, and they pull out the iPad they used to have customers sign in with and redeem rewards in store. Now, here's an important thing to note. At the time, I had a different account because my parents had actually made it for me way back to share with my brother. So I was using my mother's email. So I typed all the information in and it wouldn't log in. I thought it was just the wrong password, so I tried all of the possible ones to no avail. I knew I was using the right one, yet it wasn't working. So the employees try to figure it out, and it turns out the account was actually sort of tethered to two different email addresses simultaneously. I can't remember if this was also the case, but it's possible they were even jointed to two accounts that were trying to act as one. So they say that they'll try to call corporate to sort it out and for me to sit tight. So I'm standing there for a while, and mind you, at the time I had no other way to get to GameStop, and my grandparent had happened to be able to give me a ride there as he lived nearby. So he took me there, and I told him it'd only be a few minutes, because it was only supposed to be a few minutes. I can't remember what time it was, but I remember that it was dark out, so it was night, possibly between 7:30 to 8, but anyways, I'm sitting there for a while, and it just seems like the longest time. I'm just left standing there with my games that were meant to be traded in, and my used copy of Payday 2 that I wanted, just leaning with my stuff on top of an empty stack of game console boxes in the middle of the store, waiting for one of the employees to get back to me. At that point in time, I didn't have a cell phone either, so I was just left standing there doing absolutely nothing but waiting. So between at least 40 minutes to an hour passes when they were finally able to get back to me, and were able to log into my account and redeem the points for a discount coupon. Finally, I get checked out and head home with my Xbox One copy of Payday 2. You'd think the story would end there, right? Nope. Turns out it was only a one-time solution, as the account was still messed up whenever I tried to log in. So at that point, I decided, you know what? I've had this account for many years, bought multiple consoles there, few hundreds of dollars, split between a pro membership and a basic one. I already got about as much as I could from the points I had, so I'll just be done with this account. Sucked because at that point they no longer gave out physical power-up rewards cards, so if I made a new one, it'd have to be a digital-only thing. So I went to make an account, and I don't know if it's always been this way, but I just remember it being a pain to where it couldn't just all be done online, that you actually had to visit the store for a part of it. So given that I was starting over from scratch with my rewards points, the fact that I'm never going to have a pro membership ever again, and the fact that I never have a reason to shop there, I just quit. I put off making an account until a few days before last year's Black Friday, so that I could make sure when I bought a PS4, I'd actually have a reason to buy it at GameStop rather than literally anywhere else that had the exact same deal. But as we all know, I might as well have bought it somewhere else because look at my whole points situation. some good those 2,000 points did for me. Now, unfortunately, while that was probably one of the worst experiences I can remember, it's not the only bad one I've had. I've got a few more of them, nothing too big, but there's one that kinda sticks out. I remember the mall where I would meet with my friends every month used to have a GameStop located there before they closed down to be replaced with a toy store. Basically, at the time, it was the only store of interest located in the mall, with everything else being like clothing, makeup, all this other boring stuff. So, of course, every month we were there, we'd go up and look for a while, occasionally making a purchase. I think the last thing I bought there was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Gold Edition for the 360. It was that long ago, only a few years ago, but still, it was before I had an Xbox One. Well, one of these times I was in there just browsing. I can't remember if I was alone or with a friend or two, but what I do remember is that at that visit, I was more so just browsing between Xbox 360 and DS games. Now, of course, it's a standard procedure that employees will greet you, ask if there's anything you're looking for, try to help you, yada yada yada, you know the biz. I got a bit of that and as usual just said that I was browsing. Well, I browsed around a bit and there was this one employee that was just hanging around in the middle of the store. He might have been stocking shelves or something for a while, but one thing I remember is that he just kept staying in very close proximity to me. Like, not just the kind of hanging around in case a customer needs assistance, but the pressuring and blatantly obvious kind. Like, I mean, it felt like either one of two things were his mindset. Either A, he was impatient, just wanted someone to buy something already, or push something onto them. Wouldn't surprise me, as many GameStop employees, often due to pressure, are very pushy. Or B, the, yeah, I know you're here, so don't try stealing nothing sort of deal, which honestly I don't get in a GameStop of all places, as at least at the time there wasn't exactly anything but empty cases to steal, as they weren't merchandise heavy like they are now. So seriously, who's gonna steal a bunch of empty cases? Especially since a lot of the time they're just blank, boring, depressing, empty GameStop generic cases. So either way, if I've got money and want a new game to play, I like to take my time looking at all of what's available and make sure I'm satisfied with my purchase, as I'm not an impulse buyer. Now, I couldn't have been in there that long, not even 15 minutes, which I often take about an average of up to maybe 30 minutes when I go into a game store. Sometimes just debating between a few games, sometimes pulling up a gameplay or review video on games I'm looking at. But the point is, if I ain't causing problems for anyone, just let me be, and when I'm ready, I'll bring something up to purchase. Acting like a hungry vulture of some type isn't going to make me go any faster, and it certainly isn't going to make me want to keep shopping there if you're just wanting to shove something down my throat, which wouldn't have surprised me if he had had intentions to try to get pre-orders, pro membership, or anything else out of me. And the worst part is, I was clearly looking specifically at used games, as I always did at the time, so if I found anything, the guy was going to get a sale towards his quota anyway, so it's like, just back the hell off and just let me find what I'm looking for and you'll get your sale. That's pretty much it for my GameStop stories. I mean, I could probably come up with more, but those are just the ones off the top of my head, and if I kept going, this would be a lot longer video than it already is. I used to just not really like GameStop, especially the management and employees and their ill tactics, but lately with how they've doubled down on scummy tactics, I absolutely hate them. I've got no ill will towards the base employees, all the way up to maybe store managers, depending on what kind they are. But beyond that lies nothing but pure evil. Between the auto spending / stealing scams with rewards points, to even more horrible stories I've heard from some YouTubers really recently, including GameStop going on a manhunt against ex-employees and making them lose their current jobs, which again relates to that one YouTuber I mentioned earlier. I'm just fucking done with GameStop. I don't care what sales they may have, good or bad. I don't care what promotions they hold. I don't care what they do. Hell, even with their main shtick being used games and the market for that not being what it once was, even if they found some way to remain relevant and competitive, it's too late for that. GameStop has crossed the line long ago, and they've kept going further and further, having gone well past just manipulating their employees to be bastards. I don't know when it'll happen. Could be in the next few years, could be in 10, could be even longer, but one thing I do know is this: GameStop is gonna die. Their stock prices have already gone down, way down, in such a short amount of time. Their work environment for employees is one of the worst I've ever heard of, if not the worst. They're going out of their way to not only terminate employees, but to sabotage their career and future employability as well. So, yeah, they're eventually going to go under. And you know what? I'm very much looking forward to that day. There have been plenty of places that I've had good memories of that have gone bankrupt and disappeared, from Blockbuster to Hollywood Video, even up to the recently closed Hastings store. But with GameStop, I don't have any good memories. I can remember ever going into a GameStop and being like, that was a great experience. I mean, yeah, I've had some instances where I've idly talked with employees for a few minutes, sometimes about games and such, and they helped improve the experience because, I mean, I've had some nice employees, but those times are so minuscule, so infrequent that I can't even point out a single one of them. So yeah, when GameStop goes under, I'll be there waiting to throw a frickin' party. And as for my issue with my rewards points, I may suffer through trying to resolve it. I may not, but if I do, I think I might just go into a store and have an employee or manager do it for me. But either way, I haven't decided yet, so if I do, maybe I'll tell you about it on my Twitter. So if you're following me on Twitter, keep an eye open, and if not, well, here it is. So anyways, this has been a long enough video, so this is War Sarcy on the Game Clips channel, and I'm out.